What's going on, good people? What's going on? Y'all know what time it is. It is Wednesday and it is Wine Down Wednesday. Although we have been trying to be good for Wednesdays lately because, we got to get that summer body thing going on. So we kind of been cutting back on the wine. We've been drinking some water and juices, something that's healthy for you. So we won't have to be in the beach bodies, covering up with a darn big oversized t-shirt. So we gonna talk about it today, but welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Y'all know it is Wind Down Wednesday. This is what we do. This is how we do it. And we always on the go and we're always doing something. And we try to toss in a little bit of something here and there different for you every week. So you just don't know what you're going to get. But in the meantime, in the between time, what's going on, sis? How are you doing? And how was your week?
It's been going quickly, as you can see. Running some errands here, so out and about. But I can't complain. I'm here. It's another Wednesday. It's going down. This is what we do. Sometimes we're on the move. Sometimes we're still. So I'm out here.
I see. And you out in these elements, and it's raining. I promise you out. Please don't call the police on my friend because she up here talking to me and you all in the rain. So we promise we will not tell. Don't tell nobody where you're going, girl. They might be waiting on you when you get there.
Right.
So how's the family?
Everybody's doing well. Can't complain. Um, Nobody's sick. Everybody's waiting for summer. We're ready for school to be out. We just over it. So that's where we are.
Exactly. And that's where I am too. My week has been wonderful. Today has been kind of slow because of the rain, and I'm good with that. Sometimes we need we need all the hustle and bustle we got going on. We need to slow it down just a day. So today was like a slow for me. Courtney and I got some stuff done around, which was a good thing. So it's all right. God is good. God is good. I just came in from trip being out of town somewhere else. Hey, what's going on, AJ?
Hey, thanks for tuning in.
We got a little something special for you today, AJ. So make sure you tell all the deacons, missionaries, and friends that it's going down. But in the meantime, hold on, y'all. Y'all know it's mental health month. You know it's mental health month. And I told y'all I was going to try to have some people on here to tell you a little bit of something about the importance of mental health, what you should do, how you should go about doing it. Now, y'all know I'm not really a health freak or a health nut, but I think it is very important for everybody to try to live a healthy lifestyle to the best of their ability. That is me. It's always been me. So, yeah, we got to echo. Hold tight. That's probably my girl. In the meantime, and that was my sister on the other end because she rolling out and about in the city, but she can hear us and she gonna click back in and click in when she got something to say. But in the meantime, though, y'all know me. I am about healthiness. I am truly about healthiness. So in the meantime, I'm gonna bring somebody in that's gonna share a little something to you all because it is Mental Health Month. This is one of Courtney's dearest friends. And she's going to give you a little bit about what she does, how she does it, and the importance of being healthy and mentally in a mental state of mind. So, y'all know, how your mamas, when you grew up, collard greens, green beans, butter peas, or whatever you want to call them. They always said eat some green vegetables because it was good for you. Now we don't do none of that stuff. We just eat out of can and keep it moving. We don't care what it tastes like, and we just keep going. But we got somebody on here that's gonna help us a little bit and just share the importance of being healthy. Welcome, Liz. Welcome.
Hi, ladies.
How are you?
I'm so excited. I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in. We're glad to have you. Like I said, this is one of Courtney's friends. Her name is Liz Elizabeth Cox. So Liz, thanks for joining us and thanks for being here. So tell the people a little bit about yourself. What's up, TK?
Uh, well, so I am a certified athletic trainer. So that's my background. So I deal a lot with athletes, particularly. Um, but as you can see, I'm wearing scrubs right now. So I actually work with doctors, with orthopedic surgeons. And I actually am now in medical device sales. So that's my full time job. But I do a lot of stuff on the side because I still, health and wellness is a huge passion of mine. I've been in that field for a really long time. I know I look 21, but I'm 30. Um,
Go girl, go girl.
it's all the water. I'm telling you.
It is. It is.
It's the water in the gym. It keeps you young. But no, so that's my background. I love helping people. I love helping people um, really discover little things that they can do on a daily basis to just feel good. It's not even about look good, and we all like to look good, but I'm a thicker girl and I'm okay with that, you know? And we're talking about mental health, and I'm just going to kind of go right into it if that's okay.
Go ahead.
You know, as women specifically, we are really harsh on our bodies. We speak a lot of negative things onto our bodies. And then in turn, when we speak those negative things, we then treat our bodies physically in a very unhealthy way. And when we're talking about mental health and physical health, you also got to add in that spiritual health too, because it's all encompassing. You can't have one without the other. And that's kind of my, like, I would say that is my purpose that God has put on my life. My calling is to educate people on things that they can do to make sure that they are decreasing their stress level, which then is increasing that mental health. That means you've got a strong mental health, and you're also increasing that spiritual health. It's all intertwined, right? So, you know, that's kind of where I'm coming from, just from things that I've learned in my own life, things that I've learned from school, you know, the anatomy, the physiology, the way the body works, and things that I've learned in a spiritual sense from my mentors and from going to church and practicing in my faith. So that's kind of where I come from.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in the city of Cincinnati, state of Ohio?
I grew up in Lebanon, so yeah, sort of.
Oh, wow, shoot. Girl, I thought you was getting ready to say Lebanon, New York or something. You talking about Lebanon, Ohio.
I'm a Cincinnati girl for sure. Yes.
Cool. So you went to did you go to a public school or did you go to a private school?
I was a Catholic school girl. I went to Fenwick.
Oh, okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We just like to let the people know that wherever you went to school, it doesn't matter because it's up to you to be who you want to be when you want to be them. So we always just like to hear where everybody went to school. So, you know, we're talking about the mental health piece and the physical health. So you're into all of this. So you said you are a personal trainer?
So I'm a certified athletic trainer. I always like to tell people, because people are like, what is that? So, you know, when you're watching sports and people get hurt on the field and you see people run out to the field, that's my background. I used to do that full time. But there's a lot that goes into that people don't really know or get. But I mean, basically what my job was when I was doing it full time was I took care of my athletes. You know, we did injury prevention, we did strength and conditioning, we did nutrition. I was their counselor. You know, if they did have mental health issues, I was that person that they first saw. I was at a college too, so I was working with young adults, and we all know, and young adults in that time is just such a important time in their life. And I too was a young adult. I was 25 years old working with 18 to 23-year-olds. So, so there's so much behind the scenes, but that's my background.
Okay, because we know, Shanice, you can chime in whenever you want to. But my thing is, we know, and I know, and Shanice knows too, because she has a daughter that plays, you know, in sports. And we know if they're very active and if they are injured by any means, the mental piece in them, it kind of, I don't know, you explain that to us, because being an athlete, an old athlete from back in the day, I can only tell you, because we didn't have an athletic trainer when I was growing up. There was no such thing. It's like you just got hurt, and you know, if you could play, you could play. If you didn't, you didn't. But they didn't understand the mental piece in that. If an individual got hurt, what does it do to them mentally? Because I'm sure you have had some athletes that are now moving on to the next level, going on from high school to college, college to professionals. When they actually get hurt, how does that take effect on them mentally?
It's huge. And it's interesting you said that, because I was just working with a young female. I think she was 14 or 15. And I was the first person on the scene. She was playing a basketball tournament. And there's a point to the story. Um, Ended up tearing her ACL. And I mean, she basically blew out her whole knee at 14 years old, right? Huge. That's huge. And what that does to an athlete mentally and emotionally, I mean, especially in that level, but it can just deteriorate them, because they put their whole like heart and soul and mind. I mean, it takes a lot to be a successful athlete in this society. And most people don't become professional athletes, but they think, everyone's like, oh, you can do it. And that's great. Like, always encourage, but it can take a huge hit on somebody that puts their whole heart into something, that's taking everything that they've worked for, the blood, the sweat, the tears, literally everything. You're taking that away. And the mom actually texted me yesterday and let me know what was going on. And the first thing I said to her was, you make sure that she stays focused, stays positive, because if you get into that point and you spiral into a depression, a lot of athletes will do that. A lot of people will do that. When bad things happen to them, they just spiral. And you can't let that happen, because what your body, what you think and what you say, your body reacts to that. And you can't put it, there's no there's no science or data that you can say, but this is just one of those unexplained things. And that's why I say the spiritual sense comes into that too, because if you are having a bad mental and you are speaking bad things and you are saying things, your body's going to react to that almost immediately. And so I always tell my athletes and people that I'm working with, if they're hurt, I say, you better get this right, or that's not going to get right. If you have a bad attitude, if you're distressed, if you keep thinking like, this is going to be horrible, I'm not going to recover, whatever it is, if you have negative thoughts about something, especially in a physical sense, then you're just going to spiral, and that's just going to create bad habits. And you're going to just go down into that depression, that stress, that anxiety. And so keeping your mental strong, and you saying, and even though your surroundings are negative, you have to create a positive internal surrounding. You know what I mean? You've got to create that positive internal environment. Otherwise, your body's just it's not going to follow. It's not going to do what you want it to do.
And that's really, I was gonna say that's really true and accurate what she's stating, because my daughter actually is 14 and she'll be 15. And she like tweaked her ankle or something, and she was just like, oh my gosh, she was really worried and concerned. And so it is so true what you say, to make sure that we pour into them, that we make sure that they're communicating with us how they feel, because in school and in high school and junior high, like sports and going to school, like that is most kids everything, and that's most kids outing. And so when they can't, when they get hurt or something like that, it is a lot on them, especially this day and time when a lot of our kids don't have those positive outlets. It's like somebody ripped something away from them. So it's so important for us to support them, and for us to say it's okay, you got hurt, it happens, but we're gonna get back up, and try to find something. Obviously, it's not, if it's basketball, they can't play basketball, but there's maybe something else they can do, to kind of not keep their mind off of it, but something in the place of that, because our kids, they're active, they're always into something, they're always doing something. So,
and I think it's the same like for us. Let's kids, but let's talk about us as women. Our physical health and our mental health go hand in hand. And we have, y'all are moms. I'm not a mom yet, but I'm sure that there has been times where you're just like, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't think straight. I can't even. And we have to have that too. Y'all have to have that too. Moms, me, I'm a single woman, but I just went through a huge season of craziness in my life. And the one thing that I knew that number one was I needed to make sure I lean on in my faith, and lean on God. But the other thing was I need to make sure that I stay active and I stay in the gym. I mean, I'm in the gym 4 to 5 times a week for about an hour to 2 hours, depending on the workout. But that is you said outlet. That's an outlet to keep I had to stay focused. I mean, so my father passed away in December and unexpectedly. And to a young woman who's not married yet, who doesn't have any kids, that's devastating. My dad was like amazing. He was an amazing man. And so I knew that I needed to stay, like being active helped my mental stay active
Mhm.
too. And I stayed
Mhm.
focused and I was able to be like not
Yeah.
not ignoring the sadness, not ignoring the feelings, but being able to channel them in a healthy way
Right.
and be able to channel the energy. If I didn't even know how I felt, I was like, I'm gonna just go to the gym. I'm just gonna go for a walk.
Right.
Because our bodies are, like I said, our physical, our mental, and our spiritual, they all are intertwined. And you have to have a kind of a balance with it. And you have to make time for it.
Yep.
Like, have to.
What's your, I was gonna say, what's outside of the gym, like what is your recommendation for I'll say for adults, and then what is your recommendation for teens when it comes to them feeling like they're getting to that stress point? Some people recognize it and some people don't, but for those who do recognize it, like, hey, I'm not feeling right or I'm not doing right, like what would you say, or how would you not pull them out of it, but what is something they can do to snap themselves out of it, kind of,
Yeah.
if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. I think the biggest thing is, number one, do you have people in your life that you can talk to? I think getting an outside point of view and getting some people that are mentors are helpful, especially more towards the adults, young adults. Having a good support system with kids and teenagers. With everything that's going on in our society, I will truly say I think that teens are exposed to so many things right now, and I don't have a teenager. But I can see where society, as long as they feel comfortable enough to talk about what's going on in their lives, and also let them know, like, honestly, life is gonna get harder. Like, let's just be real. Like, you're gonna be fine, but life's going to get harder, and we need to teach our kids to be mentally strong. There's a difference between being understanding our emotions and being mentally strong. That's two different things.
Yep.
We have to understand emotions and be emotionally stable, and teens, they will become emotionally stable if they have emotionally stable environment. And then our mental strength, that goes hand in hand. So, I mean, I think them being able to understand what emotions are and how to handle it, like if they're upset, they communicate they're upset. They don't lash out. If they're sad, they communicate, I'm sad and I'm going to cry right now, and that's okay. But we move on. We don't stay that. And that's something that parents, I'm not a parent, so I can't really speak on that, but that's got to be your environment, your parents, your teachers, your friends. I had a very emotionally and stable household. Don't get me wrong, there was 4 teenage girls in my house, and it was wild. We were on our period at the same time. It was crazy.
Crazy.
Like, I don't know how that's why I said my dad was the best man ever.
That sounds chaotic. That's a strong man right there.
We literally, the nickname in our household was Cox Chaos. Like, it was just always. And you just are emotional, and you're just hormonal, and you're women. We are who we are, and we got to be okay with that.
Yep.
And I think having an outlet that's healthy, having somebody there, a support system, number one, and having another outlet, like for me, like church has been, in the last 5 years, my relationship with God has been a stable thing. And so having something like that, like kids don't know who they are. And they're not going to until they're about 25 years old. Like,
Right.
let's be real. So that's my thing is like, as long as they have a stable environment that they can lean on, and they have an understanding of what emotions are, they're gonna have to grow through it. I mean, you can't, there's nothing perfect about being a human. So like,
Growing
yeah,
pain.
yeah,
Growing pain.
like I still, I over the last 4 months, I made some decisions that I was like, that was emotionally unstable decision, and it is what it is. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. The
So,
and the unfortunate piece in the urban areas of Cincinnati, the unfortunate piece is our kids, our black babies, don't have the positivity, enough of it around them. So when you said you have to find a healthy outside relationship or healthy relationship, I think that is so important to the mental piece of it,
yeah,
because you were absolutely correct. You have to find, I don't care what you're going through, you don't even have to be a kid. You can be an adult. You have to find a healthy piece mentally outside of what you're going through in order to get over it. And everybody don't want to go to the gym, and everybody don't want to get out and walk, and everybody don't want to sit out in the sun. Unfortunately, COVID has made us become very stagnated, very lazy, to the point where nobody wants to do anything. My question too is, an individual like you, and I'm sure you come across a lot of them, how do you motivate someone? Because children get that way. I'm sure some of your clients are that way. They have become stagnated and lazy.
yeah.
What do you do to motivate them to get them to the next move? Come on, you got to move. You got to move, because that's very, very hard
Yeah.
for anybody to do. I get lazy and don't want to work out. So
Yeah.
what, Courtney gets lazy and don't want to work out. So how do you motivate someone to keep it moving? Because the mental state and the physical piece, they work together, but you can't have one without the other. I don't think you should, but I think you should be healthy at all times, mentally and physically. But that's just me. Maybe I'm crazy. But how do you get someone to um, stay motivated when they are not? Because that 14-year-old, girls tear their ACLs and MCLs more than anybody can even imagine. And that's devastating to a female athlete. So how do you keep them motivated mentally and physically, that they're going to be able to get over that hump? How do you do it?
Well, my biggest thing is, so for somebody that's just an average person, so non-athlete, you want them. So my mom, for instance, I just had to keep just, mom, hey, you should really, let's start going for a walk. I'll go with you. I think that's a lot of the things, like with our moms or like with our, friends, like, I'll come walk with you. If they don't want that, you know what? You meet them where they are at. You meet them. I can't motivate nobody to do anything. They got to make that decision, number one. But you, like I said earlier, you have to be an example. If you are trying to preach something to somebody, you better be practicing it. And that's a big thing for me as a trainer, was I'm preaching stuff to my athletes, and I'm like, y'all need to work out. Y'all need to stay healthy. Y'all need to eat right. And they would come into my office and they saw me eating healthy. And they say, Liz, what are you doing after this? I'm going to the gym. I gotta go run. So they knew that I lived a healthy lifestyle, so they trusted me. So they trust anything that I said. And that's the same thing with my mom. I've been saying for her for years, Mom, like, let's do this. Mom, like, I'm worried, and I'm not worried, but I was like, Mom, like, your knees are hurting. You need to lose some weight. Like, but she ended up making the decision on her own, and now she was telling me, oh yeah, I have a personal trainer now. I said, excuse me, ma'am. She's like, yeah, I'm on silver sneakers. I said, okay.
You should have said, yeah, you birthed one. What's going on?
I was like, but she didn't want me, and that's okay. I'm totally cool with that. So you gotta meet people where they're at. Number one, that's the biggest thing, is I don't try to motivate nobody that does not want to be motivated, because I'm not here for that. I'm here to help people that want my help and are willing to. And I tell people straight up, if you want to work with me, I don't have a lot of time, but this is what I can do for you. And if you're going to follow it, perfect. If you're going to trust me, great. If you're going to communicate with me, I'm for it. Let's do it. I'm here for it if you want to work with me. And so that's my biggest thing now with girls, like with athletes, young women. You gotta know who they are. You gotta figure out what their personality is, and because there's different ways to motivate people.
Yep.
Some people that you can cuss them out and they're like, okay, I got this. Some people you gotta be nice. You gotta brush their hair. You gotta be sensitive to them. So you gotta know who your audience. And that's the biggest thing. Just know, if you know your child and you know what motivates them, then they should be fine. And for me as an athletic trainer, when I was with a team full time, I mean, I see these kids 6 to 7 days a week sometimes. So you get to know them pretty well and what motivates them, what doesn't.
Yep.
I can pretty much tell. There's all different types of athletes, but there's always like at least 4 different kinds, right? And so I always knew, okay, this guy, like I worked with a men's team. I said, okay, this guy, if I say it like this, he'll do it. But if I say it like this, he won't do it. So you got to know who you're speaking to, how they respond.
Right.
It's really not about you. It's about them. So you got to communicate in their language.
So you are a part of Race Street. You know, you guys are just like, oh my goodness, like over it's just amazing to see, you know. And it's the first, what, 2 or 3 years ago when I went to the first one, I was like, oh my God, y'all ain't passed out yet. The training that one must do. And this is me. Courtney said, Mom, you can do this. You know, so and so mom is doing it, and she's much older than you. Once again, what you said before, you got to know yourself. You know what you can do and know what you can't do. Me, I'm not as crazy as you all are with that Race Street stuff, because that Race Street is off the charts. I invite everybody to come and watch it.
Yes. I'm not competing, but I'm head of the medical squad on Saturday. So I had surgery, so I'm still recovering. But please come out. It's gonna be such a fun event. It's gonna be at the Wyoming Rec Center, so it's a part of the community. Just literally, you can just come watch people die.
Really, that is the truth. Come watch them.
Like, hey, you go, but it's not me.
Come watch them pass out. You really have to be. My thing is, I don't think you have to be in tip-top shape, but you have to be in some kind of mental and physical condition in order to compete in that Race Street Challenge. Because I really like. I mean, I'm excited about watching it. I doubt if I take part in it at all. You know, I'm waiting for Saturday.
You get such a high. That's what being physically active is about. It's about getting that high and getting those endorphins going. Because I mean, I'm telling you, there's nothing like when you're literally in a workout and you feel like you're probably going to either pass out, pee your pants, or throw up. But then after you're done, you're like, oh, I did that.
You just might do all 3, you know. And if you can,
I did see my pants in that competition.
Let me tell you, that is so. People, I'm telling you, it is extreme. It's like running the flying pig. You know, a lot of people, when they run the flying pig, they don't stop. They tend to use the restroom as they're running. You know, that's the unfortunate piece. You know, the Boston Marathon is the same way. You know, all those major marathons, but you train. I don't know if you can do enough training to not poop or to not pee or to not, you know, have an accident while you're running all those miles. I don't care how much training you do. You probably gonna pee in your pants anyway.
I did it.
That's always what they always say, mind over matter, right? So it's always about mental strength, without a doubt. But if you can leave us your information, like if you are on any social sites, Instagram, Facebook, and where this is, I'm on Race. We would, you know, this is in Cincinnati, Ohio. It is Wind Down Wednesday, and we're just talking about mental and physical health. So if you can give us that info so people know where to come to either support, watch, or be a part of it.
Yeah, so you can find me personally on Instagram. It's livingwith_Liz. And please shoot me a message if you have any questions or want any suggestions of working out. I don't know everything, but I know a few things. Also, I'm driving, so sorry. And then on Instagram, if you want to follow Race Street, so that's RACE Street, that's on Instagram too. I think it's Race Street Athletics actually. So give them a follow. There, it's an amazing community of people. I wish I could say that I started it, but I definitely did not. Michael Millay and the Rooted Creative media team, they actually created this for the community. It's free every Saturday, 9 a.m. This Saturday is the competition at Wyoming Rec Center. So come watch, have fun. I think there's going to be some vendors there. So should be a good time.
I would definitely be there watching. I would not be competing. I would be seeing what's going on. You know, I might walk around the track or whatever, or not be in the way, or, you know, do some squats or whatever, but I will not be competing. I promise you that. Not for this one, nor the big one at the end of the summer. I'm not going to be doing that either, but I will be watching because I think it's exciting. It's very exciting to see what's going on and who is in the, you know, in condition and in shape. I mean, it's really exciting, and they do things. They don't do the same thing every year. That's the whole thing. You know, it's always something different, but you definitely got to be in, like you said, Shanice, it's definitely a mind over matter thing, because if it's hot, you're going to suffer. If it's not hot, then that, you know, that little overcast will help tremendously. Now, Liz, you do a little something on the side. My thing is, Courtney, I mean, I need to, this is what I need to do, but I'm going to tell you after the fact. I'm going to tell you after we get off. But I need some protein. Courtney, I know you do. And then here's the deal. Allergies are bad right now.
Yeah.
And which does something mentally. And we know it does something physically to the body.
Yeah. Now, I'm feeling it right now. I forgot to take my supplements today, and I'm like,
now, what supplements are the supplements that you take? Are those the same ones that you gave Courtney?
Yes. Oh yeah.
You want to talk about it or not?
Yeah, I can mention it. I'm also driving, so sorry.
Yeah, we won't call the police. We won't call them.
That's I was too. I was too. Now I'm parked, so now we done swapped.
So there's a company that I actually work with on the side, you know, and it's Nutrilite is the company, and it's basically a vitamin and supplement brand that has been around for decades, and they have continued to just go with, I mean, they made the first multivitamin, but what they have is they have these their farms that they farm all of their ingredients for their supplements is all organic, and if they don't have ingredients that they need, they have other particular farms throughout the world that they particularly get these ingredients from to make sure they're clean, make sure that there's no pesticides. So they're very, very particular about how they make their products, and I am all for that, because I'm all for like being mindful about what you put in your body, right? Because that also affects our health and well-being and our mental health. And there's a lot of stuff coming out about that too, about what we put in our body affects, you know, our brain. So yeah, I take different types of supplements for the different things that I need. And the ones I gave Courtney are particularly for allergies, but it's all natural. I don't like taking things that are chemically based, and none of the products are chemically based. The protein that I gave her is a plant protein. And I'm not big on plant protein. I will tell you that. I think most of it tastes like literal grass. But this one is amazing. I absolutely love it. It's a Nutrilite product, and yeah. So I mean, if anybody, you know, always slide me. I'll bring you some if you want some. I got you, Miss Tuck.
Cool beans. I appreciate it. My other thing is, because we know what you just said, what you take in your body has something to do with you mentally too, you know. And I don't care what, you know, back in the day I grew up, I was eating all kind of red meat, you know, you name it. I'm from Alabama. I probably ate everything that was crawling, walking, flying, you know, scooting or whatever. You know, I've probably eaten it at some point, which now I don't do that, because, you know, I've taken the pork out of my system, out of my, you know, routine of eating, because I used to love me some fried pork chops. I mean, I could eat a fried pork chop sandwich in a heartbeat growing up. So I've taken the pork out of my, and I've taken red meat out of my system as well. So when I know people don't like doing that, but that's just, but you said pesticides. Things are not the way it used to be when I was growing up. We raised and we grew our own products, and I used to go to the chicken house and get the eggs straight out of the chicken coop. It's totally different now. Yeah, it was I learned how to, unfortunately and fortunately, I learned how to kill a chicken and pluck it straight from and chop his head off and gut it and cut it up. And I learned and I did all of that as a kid. But now, they're injecting the kids with, you don't really know what's organic and what's not organic. That's what I say. You don't really know what's almond milk and what's not almond milk. I'm like, where does almond milk come from? My thing is, what I'm saying is, I think when people intake so much into their bodies, we talked about this before, it causes something with their digestive system, so their chronic halitosis have a tendency to speak out more than it should speak out. So you want to talk a little bit about the intakes of, I mean, you can eat what you want to eat. You can't tell anybody what to eat and what not to eat. But what's your thought process on what I just said about food?
Yeah, no, this is such a broad discussion when it comes to food. There's so many opinions out there about food and nutrition, and I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a dietitian. All I know is that I've gone through waves, and I do my own research on different things, and I also see what is my body like and what does it not like. And for me personally, I don't restrict myself because that's a mental thing for me. Because I used to be like, I can't eat this because I'm gonna gain this much weight. Because again, I'm a thicker girl and woman, and so I'm a woman. Like we got lady curves down here. You know what I'm saying? So I am mindful, but I don't restrict myself. But with that being said, I think for me, my personal philosophy is eat whole foods, eat clean foods. But if you want pizza, you know what? Go ahead. If you want ice cream, go ahead. If you want a steak every now and then, go ahead. I don't think there's anything wrong with eating foods that may not serve as healthy. The problem is that we tend to be on extremes in our society, and so I think you need to find a healthy balance of eating, making sure you have a healthy carb, making sure, what I mean by that is like a rice or a sweet potato, or just being careful and being mindful about how much butter are you putting in stuff. Butter's not that great for you, but it's okay in moderation. Everything's fine in moderation.
Exactly. I was waiting for you to say that because a balance of everything. If you ate rice every day, you would probably get sick. If you ate bananas every day, you would probably get over potassiated. You know what I'm saying? But over the potassium amount. So you just really have to balance everything out. People that cut stuff cold turkey. Some people it work for, other people they go right back to it.
Yeah.
So it's just a balance.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the extreme diets of like keto, or now I think to a certain extent there is a good, sometimes it is good for people because they need to rebalance different things in their body. That for me is, you need to go see a specialist. I see holistic doctors. I do not personally see medical doctors for my personal health. I see holistic doctors and chiropractors, and that's just the thing. That's what I choose. I also go to my Lord and Savior, so that's another thing we can talk about at a later date.
You better talk about it. No, we can talk about it right here. We talk about Jesus all the time. You better say that.
Well, especially when it comes to disease and illness and sickness, my first line of defense is let me pray about it, or let me pray over you. And I do that with my athletes too. Sometimes they don't know it, or even people that come to me with injuries and they want me to help them, I will speak over their body. And that's one thing. So one thing is we need to discuss is like, obviously, what are you putting in your body? So keeping the healthy carbs, the healthy lean proteins are great. I mean, chicken and fish. I personally do the organic chicken. I will spend money on that. And that's the thing, is people are like, but it's so expensive. And I'm like, okay, but like, you're investing in yourself. I will spend thousands of dollars every year on my health.
You worth it. You gotta, people gotta know that they're worth that. I'm worth a $25 piece of chicken.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it now, you're gonna be on tons of medications. You're gonna be in and out. I mean, that's where I really started changing, especially when it comes to what I put in my body. When I started working, after I left the school, I started working in a medical health facility in a doctor's office, and I saw people that were younger than my parents. Number one, looked older than my parents, and they were on like a million different medications, and they have all these problems. And I'm like, well, maybe if you lost 30 pounds and you started eating better and you started working out, this would be better and this would be better. And so, yeah, I think being just to go back, just making sure that you're really being mindful about what you eat, looking to see what's in your food. There's a lot of stuff in our foods that are like, there's a lot of ingredients in our foods that are processed that are illegal and banned in other countries. And why is America the most unhealthy country? I mean, let's just think about it. I mean, you got to put two and two together. You got to open your mind up.
Yep.
You got to look at your resources. We got to stop being so close-minded in America and think that we're amazing, which we are. Like, we live in a very great and we are very fortunate to be in this country because other countries don't have that. But
nope,
we have the freedom to choose to be healthy, and you need to take that. You have you have the most control of yourself in this country and in any other country. You have the ability. We're not on food shortages. I mean, we're on a formula shortage right now, but that's another story. But
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, we are throwing away good food, and so we have to start taking personal responsibility of ourselves.
I totally agree. And now, because I look at Cincinnati, they talking about the obesity here in Cincinnati, how big it is and how large it is, and I'm like, I'm looking around and I'm thinking, I was like, what do we have here in Cincinnati? The reason why individuals are so huge. I mean, what companies do we have that's producing so much food that Cincinnati itself, the obesity in our babies is just, the numbers are ridiculous. But it's a mental state. And once again, it's a mental piece, because their surroundings and what they're doing, and they're not being mentally or physically active, which causes them to become, they're part of their environment. You don't have to stay that way, but unfortunately they are. You said it earlier, or one of us said it earlier. If you see it all the time, if growing up, if Courtney saw me eating a lot of healthy food, she probably would be an individual that might be eating a lot of healthy food. I guess you can say it rubbed off on her because I didn't feed her a whole lot of junk either. But at some point in time, when you get older, you grow older, you have a tendency. Now you have choices that you can make on your own. But Cincinnati, I just don't understand how Cincinnati can be one city, or Ohio itself can be, the obesity level, the number and the percentages are so high. And what are we doing about it? We don't have enough Elizabeth,
I think it's just a decision that we're all making to, prioritize health. It's just basically a decision on what your priority is. And a lot of times people take it seriously when they get those small little warning signs. And some people are like, oh, it was just a one time. And, and sometimes they wait till it's too late. It's just, you just got to try to do your best, because mentally we can be unhealthy, physically we can be unhealthy. So you always want to be surrounded by positive. You want to be putting positive in, and so therefore you're going to get positive output. So it's just a decision.
Yeah, and I think too, like in Ohio particularly, a lot of that just has to do with the fact that we do have that kind of old school mentality, that Midwestern mentality, and that's complacency. And also too, like, most people are really hard workers. They're blue collar people, and they are like, I'm working so hard that I don't have time to work. But it's really just educating people on what does it really mean to be healthy. And that's why I say I don't do restrictive dieting or restrictive eating, because that takes too much energy. I do mindful eating. I do, okay, I had this today, so I'm going to just make sure I eat cleaner. I do meal prepping. It's making things a priority and then making it a habit.
I totally agree. And the thing about it too is I've been out of high school for a long time, and once again, the food down south is definitely not like the food up here. The food down south is probably much more unhealthy than the food is up here because, my thing is, it's a lot of diabetes, it's a lot of high blood pressure, it's a lot of things that are going on right now with individuals and for some reason they, like you said, Janice, it's a choice that they're making. If they choose not to eat, if they choose to eat, that's totally up to them. But there are things that you can do to get your diabetes in check. There are things that you can do to get their high blood pressure in check. There's a whole lot of things that we could do differently than what we're doing, because to have an illness mentally does something to you in the first place, but to try to help combat it, I think that a lot of water, as you said earlier, we need to just intake on a lot more water and a lot more, this, that, and the other, and cut back on a whole lot of other things. I think, that will help us in a way that we probably don't realize it, but it can. So that's my take on being healthy and trying to stay healthy and, doing what we need to do to maintain our healthiness. So I'm not a health freak, but and I do eat sometimes what I want. Every once in a while, if I want a pizza, I'm gonna go get me a pizza.
Yeah.
That's what I
did
do.
the other day. It was great. Best decision I ever made.
I don't eat it a lot, but when I do, and I do, and people ask me, do you want a piece of cake? No. Do you want a piece of pie? No. Now I will say that I am not a sweet eater. I do not eat a lot of sweets. I do not eat a lot of sweets.
Me neither. Me neither.
I have
Oh no! Give
yeah.
me that cake.
I have to acquire a taste for something sweet. And if I do something sweet, I have to have some milk to go with it. So it's got to be something that I have to have.
I gotta have water with mine. Yes.
So
Yeah, no, I love food. I am literally the fat kid that loves cake. Like, I love food. That's why I said I can't do that to myself, because that's not mentally healthy for me. And so I gotta be, again, it's switching verbiage, it's switching your mind. I mean, I could literally talk about this all day just because I've experienced this. I've been in that position where I was mentally unhealthy, and that actually made my body worse.
ooh, that's
Yeah,
interesting.
because there's a lot of people who beat themselves up, or they come down hard on themselves when they could just start with something small like portion control. If you had a piece of cake, don't have a second one. Just start there. Or if you usually eat one piece, and you want to come down, eat half. It's just small little steps. You don't have to jump and out the window all at one time.
Totally agree. Portions. I don't want you to jump head first into the swimming pool and ain't no water in there. At least think about it. But we do on here. We do talk about God, and I think too a lot of people have gone away and gotten away from the fact that prayer does change things. Prayer can change things mentally and physically. But once again, that's totally up to the individual too. We love the Lord on here. We love Jesus, honey. We'll tell you in a heartbeat.
You better know it.
You better tell all the deacons, missionaries, saints, and friends what's going on around here. Because we would definitely reach to you about the goodness and what he's done for us and what he can do for you. So there's no shame in our game to say the word God, because we truly believe in him. He's the one that can actually really help everybody if they really wanted the help,
Yeah.
because it definitely says prayer changes things. Knock and the door shall be open. Seek and you shall find.
1000%. That's why I said my first recommendation: get your spirit right. Get your spirit right. If you want to go on a health journey, get your spirit right.
If you want to go on any journey, get your
Well,
spirit right.
Amen. And deacon, missionary, saints, and friends said right. Amen.
Amen.
oh man, that's great.
Get all your, if you get your spirit right mentally and physically, things would be uh tremendous. They would turn out for you, and stay in a, we often say all the time, stay positive. Stay around positive people. I don't want to be around nobody negative. You can stay at home, because don't come up here in my house with all that negative energy, because I'm gonna have you to go back out, get in your car, go around the block, and then you could come back up in here, because I don't need all of that in my house.
No negative Nancy, no negative energy, all positive energy surround you.
You gotta cut that crap out. Like, nope. I mean, I love my family, but there was a time in my life where I was doing a lot of spiritual and mental and physical growth, and I cut my family out. I said, I love y'all, but there was only certain things that they knew about me, and they were allowed to know. I mean, perfect example, I got diagnosed with I had skin cancer like 2 months ago, and I told my family, I said, listen, I love y'all, but this is how we're going to talk about it. You're not going to say nothing to nobody. This between us, because I don't need any of that crap. And number two, this is how we're going to speak about it. We're not going to speak, and we're not going to say, I have this, this, and this. We're going to say it's healed and it's done, and they're going to cut it out, and we're good. And that's going to be it. You have to cut that. You got to create boundaries.
Amen. That's right. Balance and boundaries and positiveness. Yes, that's so important. Well, you go, girl.
Gotta be bold.
Yes, and at the end of this thing, which we are just, we're winding down and coming to it. Y'all, this is Wind Down Wednesday. I'm going to put the link in there where you all can find her, because if you need some, even if you just need somebody to talk to, because we've all gone through it. Now, everybody may not want to talk to me. You may not want to talk to Chanice. You may want to talk to a total stranger like Liz. Why don't you just reach out to her on Instagram, Facebook, whatever else, social media? Hit her up. I'm going to put it out there so you all can find her. You can see her. But if you're not doing anything, Saturday morning, get your buns over to the Wyoming Rec Center at 9 o'clock in Wyoming, Ohio, right off of Springfield Pike. We will be there. I will be there cheering, cheering for them, because I love the crew, and it's a lot of positive energy in the whole. I mean, that's really what I like too. I like seeing the people do the health piece, but the positive energy that you will feel and see. It's great for kids, and it's definitely great for adults. So I'm inviting everybody to come out to the Race Street event, which is Saturday. I'm gonna put it out. I'm gonna put it out there on the page. I want y'all to see it, because we're gonna be in the building, as I always am. Now, I don't know if Courtney's competing in this one. Probably not. She's not ready. She's not ready.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. She's not ready. She might not even compete in the final one, at the end of the year, because I don't think she'll be ready.
I'm trying to
challenge. We got a challenge going on right now. So later on tonight, she and I have a 30-day challenge that we have got to stick to. So we'll let you know the ending. Well, you'll probably see the ending results in 30 days. We'll let you know. That's a challenge.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I like hearing that.
Now your 57-year-old mama can challenge a 28, 29 almost year old child. We gonna see how that go.
Do it.
So we come to the end of the thing where positive quotes.
Say that again.
We like positive quotes at the end of the show. We always say something positive. We like to leave something positive with whomever listens. Now, this is the other key. People may not listen now, but we have a lot of people that will go back and listen to it later. So what is it that you would like to leave for the people?
For the people. I think the biggest thing for me is love yourself. Speak positive things over your life, over your body, over your children, over your family. And don't ever stop moving forward. Because if you stop, that's where the problems come, And I can say this because I went through it. there's so much to my story, and especially in the last 4 months, than I could even allude to. But I say this because I did not stop. I stayed. I stayed. I stayed mentally strong, and that's the biggest thing that I have for people is just lean into what you need to lean into. For me, is God. Stay positive. Keep talking nice things to yourself, because that your words are so powerful. You know, God did not give us any spirit of fear, so you should never be fearful. You know what I'm saying? So that's my to the people, is just talk nice to everybody, and yourself included. That's the biggest thing. Talk nice to yourself.
You go, girl. I love it. And so that's powerful. You have to know that you possess power. And so therefore my positive quote is, all things are difficult before they're easy. So you got to give things a chance. It's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. It's going to challenge you. But at the end of the day, it's going to be difficult. And as time goes on, it will become easy.
And y'all know me. You know, I always got something to say at the end of the thing. But, you know, I'm a big believer, positive in and positive out. And there is life and death in the tongue. So make sure whatever you speak, you're speaking positivity, not just into yourself, into your mind, body, and soul, but into somebody else's.
Yep.
So remember that what you say, what comes out of your mouth, can either hurt somebody, harm somebody, or it can cause some good. So make sure you be careful what you say with that little thing that's in your mouth called the tongue. Yep. And y'all know me, at the end of the day, I'm a firm believer in this, because I have been blessed tremendously from doing it. It is always better to give than it is to receive. And we'll see you next week. Stay healthy.
Bye.